Well, Tuttle. I am the author of several books and the creator of Dressing Your Truth, the Carol Tuttle Healing Center, and most recently, Empowered Aging. And if you've been following along in my social media posts, you know I've been competing in Southern Utah in what is called the World Senior Games. And I do road cycling and mountain biking. So I've gone from my dusty, dirty racing kit to my one-piece dress and my pearls, because that is a fall trend. And thank you everyone that supported and been a part of our style school that's wrapping up this week as we have our online fashion show. Yesterday we featured type 1s. Today we are featuring type 2s. Tomorrow is type 3 fashion parade, and then type 4 on Friday. And the cool thing about style school is it's evergreen, meaning the content's now there for you to consume. You don't have to be in any of the live experiences, as they're all recorded, and everything is there for you to study, review, implement. And we'll be doing style trends in the fall, winter season, all the way up through our next style school, which is in the springtime. Today, we're going to talk about something very different, though: life purpose. And that's been something I've thought about quite a bit. I've written about it quite a bit in my writing career. I'd love for you to say hi in a comment, hit that emoji button. Where are you tuning in from? What have you been involved in my body of work? Are you in style school? Are you a Child Whisper fan? Maybe you're in the Empowered Aging community, or all of the above. But life purpose is something that we've sort of, the life purpose of our ancestors used to be survive and not get eaten or die of starvation or get killed or wounded in some sort of battle. And now that we've evolved as a humanity and we have more of our physical needs met, we've had that ability to evolve on a more spiritual level to consider, what am I meant to do with my life? And that's been defined for several decades now, since I've been in this space of the healing arts, as a life purpose. So let's define what a life purpose means. And I thought about this when I was writing my book, Mastering Affluence. And I considered that it wasn't reduced to something that you had to be doing that was so monumental it left a legacy for your family or whatever community, that it could be three-pronged. And the three prongs I came up with is: lessons we're meant to learn, that our soul came to journey through this lifetime to learn certain lessons. Maybe it was lessons of love or compassion or forgiveness, or lessons of your own personal insight, the lessons that you came to learn in a mortal experience. The second prong is experiences that you were wanting to have in a physical experience. That could be anything from riding a mountain bike to traveling to a beautiful place, experiencing the physical world, experiencing food, experiencing emotion, experiencing color, experiencing visual, our senses, to come alive in that. And then the third one is where I think most people would categorize a life purpose that we'll talk about today: service to give. What are you meant to contribute? What are you meant to make a difference with? And we tend to think it has to be, again, monumental or big or vast, or it doesn't get counted, when I don't think that is the case. There could be a life purpose that is a small deed, daily acts type of purpose. And does it ever change? Does it change as you age? I think, what do you think? Do you think it changes as we age? Or is our life purpose just, that's it, that's your life, that's your purpose? Now that I'm aging and I am considered, I want to do a video where I ask each of my grandchildren, what is old? How old is old? Because I'm pretty sure they'd probably say 60s. Because I'm 67 in 2 months. So, by the cultural point of view, I'm considered old. And as you've heard me say, getting older is inevitable. How we age is a choice. And so I'm aging well, we will say. And yes, every day I'm getting older. But I do think it changes to a certain degree, and I think that's normal. What have you noticed in your own life purpose as you've aged? I think life gets simpler. The shifts that we see are things are changing in professions. We tend to be more career-driven, very, very career-driven and heavily family-focused in our younger years as adults versus service, mentorship, and self-actualization in our later years, sort of like letting go of what doesn't matter. And it maybe it doesn't matter anymore, or maybe the aging factor really help us see a lot of things don't matter, and we like to live a lighter, simpler life. I think aging definitely, hopefully, brings wisdom, perspective, because you've had all those life lessons now and all those experiences. You've been able to clock more of that. I've had a lot more experiences and life lessons than someone in their 20s, just for the sheer fact I'm 4 decades older. And the point of the life lessons and the life experiences is to help us gain more wisdom, perspective, and to explore new facets of our life purpose. Now, are you feeling like, and this is one reason I wanted to have this broadcast, do you feel like you're losing purpose? Now, we live at a time where there's a lot of tumultuous unknowns. Sort of the fear factor is really bumped up if we let it. We can easily be consumed by a lot of things that suggest to some degree what the world as we've known it is ending, or the world is going to end, depending on a lot of, if you have a religious perspective that you filter things through, it'd be real easy to just say, well, my life purpose doesn't matter because things are a little bit, there's a hopelessness or a despair that we can get captured by that then will dilute this down and sort of beat it out of us to say, well, it doesn't matter because it won't make any difference. And I think that you have to be very cautious about that. To me, there's wisdom in being and being aware and considerate of the events of our time and the possibilities, and led by faith rather than fear. And yet we need to live each day with purpose and to give it our very best. Otherwise, depression sets in. And what happens for a lot of people as they age, they feel a lack of relevancy in our societies, that I'm not relevant. I'm just an old person. There's no relevancy. Now, I believe that is up to the individual to shift that. And it's not, the power's in us to make sure that we don't go there or fall into that common denominator of sort of selling out. So if you're feeling like you're disconnected from something, do you feel passionate about something? Do you have something in your life you feel passionate about? Share in a comment. What are you passionate about? Do you feel motivated in your daily activities, or do you just go through the motions? Are you noticing any emotional signs of depression, anxiety, or a restlessness, or a lack of hope for tomorrow? A bright attitude, a hopeful attitude towards the future, or would you say on the spectrum of a despairing attitude towards the future, a very hopeful attitude towards the future? Where would you put yourself on this spectrum? Now, that's what you want. Those are all measurements of whether or not you feel like you have purpose in your life. And as you age, we can get entrapped in them becoming more. We can fall into that more easily, I think, because we've raised our families. Maybe our career is wrapping up. We're not sure what's next. And we need some insight on that. So how do you reconnect with your life purpose with the stage of life you're at? Well, I have a great course we're starting Monday called, you better text me. We changed all our names. It's our life purpose course. It is, what's the first word of it again, Colleen? It's something I know because it's what I need to be doing right now. In this course, which I will be texted the name of momentarily, One of the things that really, really helps is self-reflection practices, journaling. And I have a practice that I've created called journaling with your soul. And it's very interesting to take yourself through this process. It's though you're writing a letter to your soul, and then just through what's called spontaneous writing, without thinking about it, just letting yourself start writing, you start to respond. And what does your soul have to say in answer to that question? Unlock your life purpose. See, I know it was something about unlocking something. Unlock your life purpose. And the self-reflection practice of journaling with your soul is it's a 3-week course, and you're doing this, just briefly every day, where you're having this conversation to get insight. Because in my particular belief system, I believe I have a soul or a spirit that is me, that's embodied my wholeness, that's guiding me. And I believe that soul is connected to God, and the faith that I have in the higher powers that I have communion with, that I have that line of communication coming to my soul. And so that is I trust the fact that I'll get correct insight through this practice of journaling. And the other one is your energy type. Now, this is just body of work that I've had out for now 20 years, that understanding your unique nature, your type, can lead you toward a clear sense of purpose. And have you gotten off track with that? Are you still, for each of the 4 types, there's a sense of nurturing your nature that needs to happen all through your life. For type 1, there needs to be an element of lightness and buoyancy to feel you're on purpose with your truth. And whatever activity you're involved in, is there a lightness, a buoyancy, an uplifting quality to it? If what you're involved with that you feel is, you won't be passionate about things that weigh you down, are heavy and negative consistently. Type 2, there needs to be a sense of connection with, you're passionate about things you feel an emotional connection with. Something you feel like there's a contribution given from an emotional quality of yourself, a caring aspect, that you're a devotion, that you are contributing to the world in your service aspect of purpose. Type 3, there's an action quality, a quality of contributing more from a physical aspect, that moving forward, changing something for the better, getting results from it, being able to measure it, being able to move people into action. And type 4, the quality of reflection, perfecting, being able to time to help reflect on the contribution you're making, the purpose of your life, and then this ability to perfect things and it being valued. And so make sure, as you move through different phases of life, are you checking that box for your type? If you're not, it'll be very difficult to show up and want and feel that's going to bring you into the lack of motivation, lack of fulfillment, disconnected from passion when that isn't in place. And it's something that we're not very effortlessly able to do. It requires a check and balances all the time. All the time we have to check that one. How am I doing with that? Where in my life am I in contradiction with that? How can I make a correction? Now, guidance to me is through divinity, that I seek guidance in uncovering your purpose. What are you meant to be enrolled in? You may feel guilt if you find that, if you have hanging around these old energetic patterns of, if I do what feels right for me, I'm guilty because I need to be doing what's contradictory to me because of your past. And you want to clean all that up. You want to clean up the guilt, the fear, the hesitation, so that things land, they find you. And that's the next thing I want to chat about, is your journey in finding purpose. Now, my personal story of how I discovered my life purpose has been to help women at large. And the women I've helped, literally in the millions, have helped a lot of children and the men in their lives. But it's through that connection with the female that I've made a difference in the sort of the whole family system. but I've really been given in my purpose to help women. And how did I find it? Well, I honestly have to say it found me. But it wasn't because I was thinking about a purpose or even trying to find a purpose. What we do in the Unlock Your Life Purpose course was what I was doing and not even know that's what it was evolving into. Was I was clearing away all of the residual stuff, all the baggage I carried, the personal emotion I had that was conflicting with my purpose, the illusions and the limiting beliefs I carried about myself. And as those started to get cleaned up and I freed myself up, it was like I was available for my purpose to find me. I remember distinctly, I was in my late 20s, around 30, was living in California, and it was a really rough time. I was emotionally in duress. I was having what has popularly been sort of nicknamed the dark night of your soul. My children were 6 and under. My husband had gone back to MBA school, and I was literally, I didn't understand what I was dealing with. Also was a cognitive disability, that I had an undiagnosed condition of suicidal depression, and that my brain health and my hormones were a big player in this because it was postpartum stuff that wasn't going away. In those days in 1989, it was always just about, are you serving enough? It was really on the cusp of us understanding depression more. It was unspoken of at the time, but I was really, really, really challenged. It was tough. And I had gone to a event in Utah that I traveled to for, and I was learning about my past and how to heal childhood issues and trauma and abuse. And I was really starting to understand that what I was dealing with was very much PTSD, and it had a lot of the signs, symptoms, and side effects that very few even therapists were even able to help people with. John Bradshaw's body of work became a lifesaver for me. But I remember sitting in my car and I was journaling. Again, I was reflecting, I was journaling. I was writing letters to my younger self. I was writing letters to God, trying to understand because at the time I thought, well, my whole purpose is just to be married and raise kids, which I didn't think I had any conflict with. There's nothing wrong with that. But apparently I had more I was meant to do, because I remember sitting in my car and as clear as day, I was told, you are going to write a book. And the name of the book is The Path to Wholeness. I wrote that down in my journal. I still have that journal. I wrote it down, and I knew with every fiber of my being, I was going to write this book. And it wasn't like I wasn't even a writer. I mean, English was not even a star subject for me. I knew I'd been called to do it. I knew it. It was a knowing, not an idea of Carol's. It was given to me to know. And within 2.5 years, that book came into print. You can still find it on Amazon. It was the first book I ever wrote. I think it was 1993. It was on healing. The subtitle is, it's very long, Healing from Sexual and Spiritual Abuse. I can't remember, but it's a great book. I've evolved from that, and it's no longer in print, but it was a tricky one to even get out in the marketplace in 1993. Hello, no one was talking about that. And I thought that was it. I would never, I would go on to then train in energy healing and start working in a private practice and help a lot of people. I did Reiki. I did rapid eye therapy. I was very successful. And so this started to show up for me. And when the internet came to be a player, I launched my first website in 2000. I felt called to do that. So I've been given spiritual guidance all along my journey. And the difference has been, I trusted the difference between this is Carol's idea and I'm being asked to do this. And they've been very powerful, distinct impressions. The Empowered Aging brand that we've just launched really felt called to do that. Each body of work I've put out, you can really say there's 4 main ones. CarolTuttle.com is the healing work, energy healing work, dressing your truth. Definitely. I remember sitting at the kitchen table and I was starting to study these profiling systems, and I was starting to see it through the lens of an energy healer and working with energy. That's why, and I was told, sitting at the table, The body of work is called Dressing Your Truth, and the profiling system is energy profiling. I wrote those down. I was also told it would be empowered aging, and I wrote that down. So I've been given a lot of guidance, but I had to clear myself. I had to get all my baggage out of the way, and I've done this for decades. I still use my own healing center. We send out 2 text prompts a week for members. I get those text prompts. I do them every week plus others. I did one today. It was on clearing. I love it. I have not outgrown my own things. My own bodies of work are still helping me. Oh, I did the one that came out last week on Wednesday. I hadn't done it yet. Release patterns of pain, feeling like a battle. What a brilliant session this is. That's another conversation. Today's text prompt was release negative emotional energy you carry in any area of your life where you feel stuck. So you want your life purpose to find you, really. You want people to show up, impressions. You want to be moved so you don't have to move yourself. See, that's the difference. I felt so empowered and given the capacity. I was given the capacity to motivate. I was motivated by the grace of God to move forward in the purpose I was meant to do. Now, that could be from anything to the more vast sort of big deal stuff like writing a book, or calling somebody that you're meant to call on the phone for what you don't even know why, or you're meant to reach out to someone because you don't know why, because you're living a purpose-driven life. And to me, that's the range from the small incidentals that make a big difference on a day-to-day basis to the bigger stuff that you're meant to be a part of, whether it's service, whether it's contributing in a family system, whether it's education, health. This event I've been involved in down here, the Senior Games, there's 12,000 athletes from 15 different countries, 36 different sports, and there's probably at least 2,000 volunteers here. Volunteers, just volunteering, no pay. They're there to help these events happen. And it's a lot of work. And those people feel called to do that, I'm sure. It's a purpose-driven decision. And that's really what you want to be doing in your life, whether you're younger, raising children still, and especially as you get older and you have more time. I have more time in my life for the mere fact I don't have to feed a bunch of children or change diapers, or I've done all of that. Now I have more time. What am I meant to do with that time? Such a precious commodity. I received the very sad news today of a good friend who's younger than me, a gentleman I've known for 15 years that's come to my house to give me and my husband massages for 15 years, suddenly passed away from a heart attack at 63, 62 probably. And I was shocked how precious our time is to be your purpose is a life of inspiration. Maybe we could switch that out. Purpose can be a little redundant, don't you think? We've said it a lot. A life of inspiration, inspired choices, whether they're small and more anecdotal and no one may never even know. Maybe you're meant to do them without ever it being given that you were meant to do that. Maybe it was something big and your name is on the front lines. No, you'll know, and it won't matter because you're doing it for the purpose that is more of a divine exercise than one of needing attention. And so I hope if this rings true to you, if you feel there'll be value there for you, you'll join us. You can just go join up. If you've been a member of the Healing Center, we start on Monday. Just re-sign up. It's $69 a month. It's a 3-week course. So basically the course is $69. And it's a very beautiful thing to be a part of the Facebook group. Such great camaraderie there and support. And if you're not a member of the Healing Center, you'll get 2 weeks free. So you'll get 6 weeks for $69 and you'll be able to poke around and do a few other things. And definitely sign up for the text prompts. They're fabulous. I love getting my own text prompts because they keep me enrolled, keep me practicing, keep me accountable to myself. So any questions about any of this? Any buddy having a challenge or something they want support with that we can help you with real quick? Not, we'll be in the Healing Center doing all of that the next 3 weeks. We'd love to have you join us there. And also, please join us in the Empowered Aging Facebook group. That's a free Facebook group. Sign up for my newsletter, myempoweredaging.com, where you get a weekly article on something that will support you in aging better, with a weekly challenge for you to learn and practice it and implement it, so that you can, little by little, make the positive changes you need to age better. You know, we've talked about this quite a bit in my previous broadcasts, that aging is a beautiful thing when you feel good. When you don't feel great, it's not so fun. I want to personally thank you for everyone that sold us out of our empowered electrolytes. We've been sold out now for a couple weeks. We were not prepared, obviously, to have it go so fast. It will be back in stock in about 10 to 12 days. We got on that as fast as we could. It's just our formulator supplier, we do small batches compared to some companies. And so it's a very customized formula. They quite often have to get what they need to make what we need, because they want it fresh and clean. So we're waiting now for that, and we should have those back in stock. And we now are testing 2 other products that we're just finalizing the formulations on, because my goal was, within the first 6 months of launching the brand, was to have the 3 products, supplements that I felt were critical for aging well. And the electrolytes was the first one, and it's lovely. I love it. We've had so many good success stories with it. Somebody just posted today that in the Empowered Aging Facebook group that their sodium was low in their last blood work, and now their most recent labs, their blood work, their sodium is normal, and they're taking the electrolytes. And so we'll let you know as soon as those are back in stock, and you might want to stock up on those. We're looking to get a subscribe and save offering option, so they'll just ship automatically and you won't ever run out. But thanks again. I'm grateful my purpose hopefully has made a difference in your life and the lives of those you know. And I know you make a difference in mine for sure, because you show me, I'm my own student in a lot of ways, but I learn so much from those that I see what you do. I see the changes you make. I see the profound insights you have. I see that you take it beyond anything I could have ever imagined, and how you've taken and the things that I've taught, the things I've shared in the world, you've made it, you've brought life to it. So it's not just a temporary thing, sort of a fad, that it really has long-term impact, which really is important to me. So thanks, everyone. We have a try-on event a week from Friday with all the experts on October 25th. So we will see you at that. And if in the meantime you have any questions about the course, just go to healwithcarol.com, and you can sign up for the Healing Center. And once you go in, you'll see that it's right there on the homepage to click on the course. You can start it today if you want, but we'll officially start on Monday, and we hope you'll be there with us. Thanks, everyone. Appreciate you.